Well, that was hopeless, wasn't it? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blackout Racing series. Yes, we are back for racing at the Spanish Grand Prix. If you were watching the previous live stream and were hoping for some good racing, I bring good news because I got pole position in my first lap on the game of the day around Spain. I will absolutely take that. What I won't take is the fact that, as you can see, I'm in 15th and I'm dead. Because the Red Bull span in front, it was a double teaming effort, and you don't really get to say that on an F1 live commentary very much. So let's move on before things get too tasty. Lap number 10 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Start currently leads the man mountain himself. Buck 20 in P2. Wire 4 cars in the pit lane. What is going on? Guardian's in for another change of tyres or front wing. I have no idea why. Milo, who I lost my front wing on, is now in 14th. I would say that's karma, but realistically, it was all my fault. So, back to the front. Stark and Buck 20 have a gap of a second. Could have been me. I'm not salty, I promise. But we're going to enjoy this battle now. We're going to enjoy it because first and foremost, I am a commentator. If I can speak the English language, which clearly isn't possible. However, for this man, Coach, in the Ferrari, I tell you what, he's hounding the back of Slam in his prancing horse, the Silver Arrow. Feeling a bit blunt around the edges, perhaps slightly dulled in the slipstream of the Alpine of Pathiman in P3. Chances for a podium position for any driver, no DRS enabled. Here comes Slam, though, to try and find an Avi around the outside, but there is nothing available for the time being. Mediums versus hards, and Pathiman wins that battle for now. It's Coach, though, who's been usurped by Dirkleton. Great success there from the William. I can't speak. It's partially because I'm enraged, but also because I need to kind of acclimatise myself to these conditions. Two of the men who were at the front before, Wilco and Milo, have had an absolute stinker. What on earth has gone on there? They're going to be fighting. Well, they're going to get points. Can I just get one sympathy point, please? Can I at least get a point? Is that too much to ask? I'd love that. Please. I know I didn't complete half the race, but we can look past that. Guardian, however, is still in the race, and actually firmly in the slipstream of Magico, who span in front of his teammate and caused me to combust out of the race, quite frankly. And listen, I know he's my husband, but I feel slightly... Oh no, what's happened to Slam? Never mind, we're going to have to sort out the prenup later, because Buck 57 has gone for some lawn mowing, nearly 3 wide through the right-hander, as Coach now is demoted to P8 behind King Didi, who, well, might not have the best of restarts come the end of the red flag, but I'll tell you what, he's absolutely flying now. Someone else who's flying past is Buck 57 on Slam. Coach getting past the Haas car of King Didi. The Steiner ship is not sailing, it's well and truly capsizing as the AlphaTauri driver blitzes his way up into P5. Meanwhile, at the front, it's getting tasty. Buck 20 trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. Surely not, though, unless he can get a switchback of some kind, which he is going to try and do. On board with Buck 20, down the inside, actually backs out of the move because he knows in his heart of hearts that DRS will be his for the taking very, very shortly. So full throttle, pedal to the metal stuff, aerodynamic suction to the finest, but the straight just not long enough. As Coach now, well, was within 900ths of a second of Slam. Now King Didi's the one piling on the pressure as Buck 20 goes round the outside of the right-hander. What a move there, but remember, Stark will now have the DRS, the momentum switches, and let's see what that Aston Martin can do. Buck 20, my apologies, with no battery, and it's absolutely academic. Stark understands the assignment, grades it to an A-star standard, and straight through back into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Buck 20 goes slightly wide for good measure. Imagine that. So the top 3 quickly. Big battle between these two, and it's allowing this man, Pathiman, to get right back into the action. Only 2.2 away on his hard tyres. The top 3 all on the hards as Dirkleton. The next car also on hards. It's Buck 57 on mediums, though. The first car in the field to have that particular, well, not problem, really. It's just a different kind of strategy. As Coach has had a bit of an issue, gone slightly wide. Luckily, it has not curtailed his race, unlike mine. As through into, well, carries on in P8, which is good news for him. The salt will eventually evaporate, I promise. And why is it evaporating? Don't ask me that question. Again, Buck 20 piling on pressure after pressure after pressure. Using a little bit of my cheeky line there. Narrow through the left-hander. Very interesting there. I always find that line just seems to give me more purchase, so I can take more speed into the right-hander. But, you know, each to their own. Each has its own advantage and disadvantage. A slam gets past Buck 57, and it's because Buck 57 has absolutely... I was going to say something, but something 57'd it, but you can guess what I was going to say. Anyway, he's taken a bit of a tour through the sandbox. Through goes Big Goat into P9. Milo said he'd have to move house if Big Sam wins a race tonight. I'll tell you what, Big Sam, do it. As Buck 57 comes into the pits. Luckily for him, he's still racing though. As Wilco goes right past King Didi. King Didi seemed extremely slow on the straight. No idea what on earth happened there. But anyway, we carry on. It's actually a battle for the lead again. Buck 20 down the inside, and he's well past this time. Through at the left-hander into P1 with 2,000 wings attached to both ends of his McLaren car. Stark will have the lower wingage and DRS at his disposal, but thinks better of it for the time being. There is more to be gained by having it on the main straight. Buck 20 not taking the KarlsCars line through that corner. Not like it helped. Actually, no. Well, it did help, but the problem is I got nerfed in every single regard. Once by myself, twice by the game, and then 3 by Red Bulls. And the honest assessment is, I deserve more, really. But I'm in points, really. Who cares? But Stark's absolutely rinsed Buck 20 down the straight. I will shut up about my race, though. I guarantee. No, not more than a guarantee. I promise. I will shut up about my own race. I will be back in Mexico, and I will be back, hopefully, with a much more fruitful result. Albeit, I will be starting plumb last. Through goes Stark into P1, and so let the battle continue. Only 8 tours of the Spanish Grand Prix track to go, and Buck 20 pretty much carving out his own racing lines against Stark. The downforce he's using is propelling him to new heights and unprecedented levels. Milo now up into P13, courtesy of the fact that Buck 57, well, had to pit after that slight pirouetting scheme. Only saw a 7.5 out of 10 from the crowd. But it was a decent effort nonetheless. Guardians actually got ahead of Magico in all of this fun. As there's another yellow flag. What on earth's happened there? Oh no! Front wing's gone. King Didi is without a nose. And that will not improve his downforce or his cornering for that matter. As my teammate, here comes Raiden. He's going to get P9 now all of a sudden. Go on, lad. You love to see it through the left-hander. King Didi's going to have no downforce whatsoever, so you don't need to do anything too brash, my friend. Through the right-hander he goes, and King Didi's gone, well, towards Portugal more than the apex of that corner, but Raiden through into P9. King Didi with a very much a sinking feeling as down the straight Buck 20 re-inherits the lead. Of course he would, but here comes Stark again down the inside at turn number 4. The momentum switches all the time here at the Circuit de Catalunya, and it's now back in the Aston Martin driver's favour. Through back into P1 goes Stark. Another yellow flag. Oh, Guardian! After, oh no! King Didi pulls... No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. What on earth has he done? He's actually crashed in the pit lane. I believe that is what's happened. Unfortunately for some drivers, though, no safety car. I got bailed out by a virtual and a red flag, and I still couldn't do very well. So, who's really laughing? The answer is, well, everyone else. Through the final sector then, Buck 20. Look at the different lines he's taken just to find any kind of momentum against Stark. Of course, this will assist him in terms of maybe preserving his tyre temps, his engine temp a little bit more, so it can rev to the absolute maximum. Howl like a hungry husky for some big nosh. As down the straight goes Buck 20, looks for an avenue, but actually doesn't get through. And again, slightly wider at turn number 1, perhaps taking a bit more speed through there, but it compromises the rest of that section. And so Stark keeps the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Mr. Milo now up into P10 ahead of Magico, as there's another yellow flag. What on earth is going on? Has Guardian had another moment? I have no idea, but let's see what my husband can do. It's a slight disgruntlement I have. It wasn't his fault he span. It was my fault that I hit them, really. Realistically, I should have gone left, but then I didn't know. I didn't have time to know if Wilco was... I don't have any excuses. Here comes Magico, looking for a move, thinking of a move, not going for it. Buck 20 also thinking of the same, but again, being the wiser the wiser head on young shoulders. As through the right-hander he goes. And good lord, look at the momentum he had just by sticking it to the inside. Like I say, the ebb and flow of the Circuit de Catalunya is, well, almost unparalleled in terms of what kind of racing lines you can take, what kind of manoeuvres you can pull off. As on board with the McLaren man we go to perhaps re-inherit the lead, but no, again, blipping off the throttle. Perhaps choosing to save some ERS. Let's see what Stark's on. He's saving it as well, and actually the lower downforce is keeping Stark firmly in this fight, it must be said. As he, Buck 20 doing everything he can, but with 5 laps to go, it's looking like a tall order suddenly as there's yet another yellow flag. As Buck 57 has had a massive skill issue. For one Buck, he's 7th heaven. For Buck 57, well, it's poor, really, I'll be honest with you. 1 lap on softs, at least I didn't lose my whole front wing. That's the one positive I can take. I lost the front wheel, though, so who's really counting? Terziak as well. DNF'd earlier, you would have seen why, as Buck 57 goes to make some sandcastles. Magico and Milo having a great scrap A down the main straight. As you can see, I keep saying Buck 57, my apologies. Buck 20 and Stark going hammer and tong. Pathiman still keeping them honest, though. Only 3 seconds behind. Not lost that much time in the several laps that I've been looking at this little top 3 dynamic ensue. As Buck 20 again with DRS, you can almost predict it. You can almost write the script. It's so clear to see as Buck 20 breezes through at the main straight into P1. And now he has the tall order, in my opinion, of getting that 1 second gap as quickly as possible. Maybe even on this lap if he can. But again, Stark doesn't even need to use ERS. Puts his nose to the inside. Buck 20 goes wide in sympathy. And here comes Stark with the traction in his favour. Perhaps going for a move to the outside. No, thinking better of it because maybe the switchback is on. And of course there are DRS zones to play with. Pressure being applied at every single nook and cranny of this Spanish Grand Prix track as Magico gets back through, and it's because Milo has had a slight problem. Milo has had a problem, and the answer is he's coming into the pits to fit on some soft tyres. He knows he's pretty much got the gap, and he believes can overtake Guardian with those fresher soft tyres, get the fastest lap, and be a very happy man to the end of the race. Let's see if that is the case. Shakespeare, give me a call. Gap now 8 tenths. Buck 20 is going to be singing and dancing, but in real time, you are about to witness just how powerful the DRS of Stark is, with a little bit of ERS as well. What was 8 tenths of a second has been completely trounced. Stark absolutely annihilates Buck 20 as into turn 1 he goes, and again the lead belongs to the Aston Martin driver. But of course now it's a slight mathematical and mental calculation of when you take the lead of this Grand Prix. Of course it's very easy, very, very easy to say, well, I've got the lead, I believe I can stay there. And that's all well, but Buck 20, I'm sorry, mate. I'll be completely honest with you. Hans Heyer was faster than you. And he wasn't even supposed to start the race. And he supposedly didn't qualify. I've no idea what on earth has happened. But maybe he's going for a fastest lap glory run. Immediately, Milo, almost within a second of Guardian on those fresh softs. But the dynamic now returns to the front. Like I was saying, you have to do the calculation of when you actually have the lead of the Grand Prix. Because if you have the lead on lap 21 and you lose it on lap 22, if you know you can easily get it back on the final lap, you can pretty much guarantee you've won the race because you've been defending fairly, ruthlessly, all of the other adjectives I can think of to describe good driving. All of that is in the... Oh no, Pathiman spun! No, from P3, it was all looking so good and his front wing's gone! I don't believe it! It's Heartbreak Hotel for so many drivers. Myself and 4 others have felt it. Others have had the Voldemort department straked upon them. Coach is going to be very disgruntled as a lackadaisical Pathiman is on the racing line. And rotten luck partially, and also don't light up your rear tyres, rule number 1. As through into the lead again goes Buck 20, and hopefully this time we can figure out how to keep the lead of this race. But only time will tell. The gap currently 7.5 tenths of a second, but even on that short straight, if Stark gets DRS, he's going to be absolutely flying, driving the wheels off that Aston Martin car, surely. as through now with DRS. Look at that, 9/10 of a second. Very quickly turns to almost 7/10. Buck 20 has to do the business through these few sets of corners as Milo inevitably gets the fastest lap and Guardian comes into the pit lane. Fastest lap, a 14-second gap to Magico with 2 laps to go. Can he get 7 seconds per lap? Well, you're about to find out. Now, Stark, I don't know if you're listening, I don't know if you're watching, but hopefully you will have thought about this and thought about the mental calculation. You haven't thought about it, have you? No, he hasn't. But he's going to breeze past anyway. Oh my god, that was a voice break if you've ever heard one. Through into the lead goes Stark, and now the real question, as we head into the final 2 laps of this Grand Prix is, will he stay there, or will Buck 20 claim the win at Blackout in the Spanish Grand Prix? Of course, a rerun, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, back to season number, well, back way early in the season, basically. We tried the Spanish Grand Prix, Codemaster said no, and it was very upsetting. So, we're doing it again here. We're doing this race, we are doing, what was it, Mexico and Brazil, I think? Something like that. You'll soon find out, though. Another yellow flag because Buck 50, I keep mixing up Bucks, I'm so sorry. Buck 57 has gone for some bird watching. That is illegal, you will be put on a register. And while that happens, we're going to have to anticipate. Oh, Stark, hello. Am I seeing some tactics, possibly, if Stark gets this right? If he does let Buck 20 through, I thought he was going to for a second based on how slowly he was going. But not to be. A flick into the right-hander. And for one final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, Stark is going to dump every ounce of battery he has. And it's actually going to pay off. Buck 20 cannot get close enough. And so he will keep the lead. But remember, that's the first of many corners as Big Sam gets up into P7 ahead of Voldemort in the Alpine. Not ideal at all, but again, now the defense games have to start going. Stark returns to the racing line to chop off the avenue. Buck 20 set to carve out, but he's trying to go for it. Round the outside of the hairpin. Stark with the defense, has to keep it narrow. Buck 20's hit him. Oh, dearie me, have to use some ERS to try and keep that position. What a dogfight for P1 on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Nose to tail stuff here in Catalunya through the right-hander. One last possible opportunity and maybe the downforce coming into play. Buck 20 might go for it. Round the outside. Does he dare to dream? Stark banging wheels with a McLaren driver. Through the right-hander. Stark tries to get that momentum. Round the outside. But he's lost it. Buck 20's won the Spanish Grand Prix. And in the most dramatic of dogfights, Buck 20 inherits the biscuits to cross the line and win the Spanish Grand Prix. What a battle at the end of the race. Stark should, without any issue, come through to claim P2. Or maybe Dirk can have something to say about it. So close, but a 10th and a half is what separates Dirkleton from even more points here in Spain. Congratulations to Buck 20, slamming P4. To be quite clear, this is not Space Ghost. He's made that abundantly clear in P5. Coach P6, Big Sam in P7. Pathiman soon to cross the line. Well, hopefully in PA, but I'll tell you what, he's going to have a tall order doing it. Because here comes Magico, trying to go around the outside. Magico's nicked P8 at the final corner. Across the line to claim P8 goes the Red Bull man. Pathiman in 9th, Raiden in 10th. And now we wait for Milo to cross the line, and that will do it. Milo has parked inside of another man. That is something I didn't think I'd be saying tonight, but here we are. Dirkleton, driver of the day with his fists of ham and fingers of butter, although there was no grease to the way he was driving at all because we're in Spain. There was many elements to that, and I don't really know what happened. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen. I might have been the pole sitter, but in order to finish first you have to finish. I learned that the hard way. And Buck 20 played it to perfection. Almost race-long battle between himself and Stark is finally concluded. And the McLaren man takes away top honours at the Spanish Grand Prix. Oh yeah, also I put in a Discord chat, well Milo said, boy knows wheel, and he referred that to me, and I said, don't let this come back to haunt me. Big Sam now just said, it came back to haunt you. Thanks, Big Sam, very cool. I'm not happy. I have crippling depression from that race. Anyway, your finished race finishers. God, it's me. Buck 20, Stark, Durkleton, Slam, Wilco, Not Ghost, Coach, Big Sam, Magico, Patherman, Raiden, Millo, Guardian, Buck 57, King DD, me, although I didn't finish, J-Lane, Vulcan, and Terziak. I somehow, with a 1 minute 26, I was 12 seconds off the pace and I still got P15. Which I'll take, really, all things considered. So there you go. Whoosh. What a day. What a day at the Spanish Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, while I had fun commentating the Spanish Grand Prix, I'm now going to go back over to driving land. Because it is time for me to take up the gauntlet of trying to not combust at, I believe, the Mexican Grand Prix. I think it is. I could be wrong. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this Spanish Grand Prix commentary. And don't worry, we shall be back very soon. Hopefully not too soon, so that I'm commentated. Stark says he's devastated. Yeah, I know. Honestly, I don't blame you. It's devastation all round, really. I had so much to live up to after the pole position, and now I'm depressed. That's all I can say. Oh, well. You win some, you lose some. Anywho, I should be back in driving land. Thank you for watching so far. Hopefully, I'm not back too soon to commentate at least. But, until the next race, enjoy a little break. And I'll see you back on the racetrack. Enjoy.